Welcome to Iron Island Discs, a podcast series where we talk to Irish people from different walks of life as they reflect on their own journeys. Join me, Russell McDermott, as we explore the many aspects of Irishness and what it means to each of our guests through life's ups and downs. Caroline McGuigan, welcome to Iron Island Discs.
Thank you so much for the invite, Ross. I'm really looking forward to the conversation.
You're very kind. And is this your first trip, or how many times have you been to Iron Islands?
It is my second trip. The first when I was 11, they decided to send me to the Gaeltacht for a month to Connemara, and I learned Gumalesh Gael because I kept going ha to the Banonté. So I learned Gumalesh Gael, and we went over. Now I always get the names mixed up. We went over to the Aran Islands, and so we could see them from the farm we were staying on. So I didn't learn a lot of Irish, but I got a little boyfriend, so that was good. Ooh. Yeah, and then the second time was within the last 10 years. My husband John and my son Connor and Amy. So we were staying in Galway. I said, we got to bring the guys to the Aran Island, and it rained all the way over, and I was telling them all about the Aran Island, and it rained all the way back, and they were like maybe 8 or 10. So yeah, I said to them, look, maybe one day come back to get that different experience. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful.
And do a ferry, do you? Or do you fly over?
Yeah. Oh no, it's great, except now that I could see the two kids going, what are they doing with us here? Yeah. But no, they're my two experiences so far.
I've only been there in good weather, and I have this image of this clear blue water, lovely temperature, cycling up to Dunangus, you know what I mean? So I'm afraid to go back just in case.
Yeah, don't tempt fate, Rasta. Don't.
Exactly. But to be out to that westerly place, looking at the Atlantic on a good day is something special.
Yeah.
And where are you from originally, Karen?
So I am originally, I now live in Shankill, County Dublin, and I spent the bulk of my life in Ballybrack, County Dublin.
Ballybrack County, every argues where...
I know. I just do County Dublin.
Yeah, the borderline,
yeah.
And your experience in Iron Islands is very good, except for the rain.
Yeah, and I did enjoy the month in the Gaeltacht as well. So yeah, it brought me, to the real Irish part, So yeah, no, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I don't speak Irish. I grew up abroad.
I can say Gumalesh Gael and Banonté. That's me lot.
Banonté sounds serious because my daughter used to raise
the house. The woman of the house.
And how do you describe yourself, Caroline? In the old days, the passport used to have a box where you had to describe yourself as student, businessman, businesswoman.
What you do.
Nowadays it doesn't exist. But how would you categorise yourself?
Oh, wow. Thank you, Ross. A good question. This will be interesting what comes out. Okay. I get to be a mum to Connor, who's 27, and Amy, who's 25. 4. Oh, she'll go mad with me. Oh, shit, I'm in trouble. But I get to be their parent, which is a blessing. Just such a blessing. I'm choosing to work as a therapist. I've been doing that for about 20, 30 years, but very differently now. I'm studying with a beautiful group of people. Viktor Frankl, who wrote Man's Search for Meaning, I'm studying with his grandson. So yeah, my life has brought me to a place where I pick particular people that I want to be in my life, and then others that were no longer. That chapter's finished, because I need to be around people that there's no agendas, and there's that genuine love. So I study logotherapy. I work as a therapist. My most important, I get to be, and I got to be John Pender's wife and soulmate, and we still are for way over 30 years. Wow. So yeah, so they're the most important. Like, I've gone to college, done all that stuff, and I'm not undermining it. And I see the value of it, but I see life very, very different now, Rasa. So yeah, and I get to have beautiful friends in my life and go for a cup of coffee, and I go swimming down Sandy Cove, and it's freezing cold. The doctor put it on my prescription. So I get to do these beautiful things, and I take none of them for granted. Working jobs and education, CV stuff for me.
And you're not one of these people that comes out of the water in Sandy Cove and tells us all it's warm?
I course in the water. Oh my God. I said to me mate, right, when we hop in, right, and all you can hear is, fuck, and I'm going, I'm so cold. I actually it helps. It actually helps. But no. But it does. Now, genuinely, because I would have been one of those ones to go, what are they like getting into the water? And I'd have my coffee. And for my nervous system with life and trauma, it gets, I shake inside, outside. And it's really difficult, but it's part of my life. And me and the doctor had a eye-to-eye conversation. And he says, right, you're a therapist and you might, suggest, he said, I'm your doctor. So he said, just try it. For my nervous system, Rossa, it calms it down.
Does it? It freezes.
Absolutely. But it definitely is helping me. But when I'm going in, I just be cursing going in and cursing coming out.
Oh, I hit them go down Black Rock and Sea Point.
Yeah.
But the evangelical things they say when they come out, people, their lives are changed.
You're going to feel great. But it definitely helps my nervous system. So me and my bestie do it, which is good.
And you've always been involved in dealing with people, have you?
Yeah, I long story short, so I got caught with my mental health in my early 20s. We'd loads of stigma in Ireland, which still exists. And nobody spoke about, once you come to this earth, suffering is part of the experience. And you would have been medicated, you kept it quiet and didn't. So I was in the services, a day patient for many years, and I couldn't anymore. And I attempted suicide, and my husband, John, was with me. And they said, we don't know if we're going to get her back. And they did. And I said to him, there has to be another way, John. And out of that evolved an organisation, and I've shifted now for over 20 years around suicide and mental health. Very passionate, because I truly cared. So I trained as a therapist. So it was, at the cut, I was pissed off. So it was like, stop just prescribing. I'm nothing against meds. Why isn't there access if someone chooses the talk therapy or alternative? And can we not look at, Eastern, Western, there's stuff 2,500 years old. That is much more wisdom. My husband went from the motor trade to become an acupuncturist.
Wow.
Yeah, so we really rocked around Taoism and with a can of Coors Light. We had fabulous conversations and a cigar. So, I just was very passionate.
But is it a particular Irish thing we're not able to deal with mental health, a cultural thing?
Yeah, I know I carried great shame at the time and embarrassment. And you see, you also had, you still had the church element where suicide, you had to be buried on sacred grounds. And, it carried such a heaviness of shame. And shame is the lowest energy that you can carry with you as a human being. And then families, they thought, is it me? So the Irishism, what I would have seen is that something innately in me pushed. And I believe your destiny doesn't push you for it's not pushing you forward, it's pulling you forward, And I seen people don't talk about that. And that's the Irishism, under the carpet now, our little nerves and Mammy's little helper, little Valium. And that was very Irishism. And systems and service tucked away. I also seen, and we use the word resilience, Ross, as we were saying, I find it's a little bit marketed at the moment and it's thrown out. So what I would say is that, every single human being, we have a couple of things in common, and one is suffering. Once you get here, you're going to experience suffering. You're more than that, and it doesn't define you. But nobody's that wasn't the message, Yeah. But I believe the Irishism in me, without even knowing, my husband would have said it. He said she came back from the hospital having attempted suicide, and she could see the buds on the tree. And he said, and he said, I'm going, what's she looking at? And it's like, it was innately in me to see the more than. I mightn't have had the language and I didn't particularly want to put a word on it, but I had come out and gone, I really don't know what to do. But I could see the buds on the tree. So I do believe in soul resonance and our DNA coming through, but it's not only the heavy trauma we bring through. And my mates used to go, oh, here we go, she's drunk. I love being Irish. I absolutely have always been fascinated that I get to be Irish. And when we had a few drinks to go, oh, she should work for Bart Fáilte. Here she goes again. But I have always loved it. And I've had a mixed